What's going on, you guys? It's your man James, aka JP, back again with the toy room. And today in this video we're gonna do something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while now, and I'm just finally getting around to it, and that is ranking every single Disney movie. Now, I've seen pretty much every single Disney movie from the animated to the live action, with the exception of a handful of them, but today I did want to rank every single Disney animated movie. And again, this is just my ranking. These are my opinions. I would love to hear your opinions down below in the comments. If you disagree with something, or even if you agree with something, let's debate about it in the comments below. Now, I don't expect this video to get a ton of views since I don't normally do this on my channel, but if this is something that you guys are interested in and want to see more of, I can definitely rank more movies, more video games, whatever. We can do more ranking videos. So definitely, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like it. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into ranking every single Disney animated movie. Here we go. Alright, you guys, so here is the tier list. I have my laptop in front of me, so if you see me looking down, that is what I'm looking at. But here is the list, and here are the rankings. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but let's just go over them really quickly. So starting with the number 1 rank, that is the S rank. That is the top of the tier, cream of the crop, hands down the best Disney movies, in my opinion. Moving on, we obviously have A, B, C, D, E, and F. Obviously, A is not quite the best Disney movie, but pretty darn good to be up there in the top of the list. B is pretty much the same thing as well. C and D is just kind of meh, mediocre Disney movies, not the best. And then E and F obviously are the worst, with F being the worst of the worst. And then I also created a section that says haven't seen / don't remember, because like I mentioned earlier, there is a handful of Disney movies that I haven't seen, or maybe some that I've seen a very long time ago that I just don't have good memory on. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and just scroll down, and we can see all of the list here. So there is quite a few on this list that are I don't know what you would say, just like the sequels of movies, like maybe Aladdin 2. I don't know if that's on here or not, but that's just an example. Or even I think there's like 3 Aladdin movies. I've only ever seen the original. Even like Piglet's big movie I see here, Chicken Little, not Chicken Little, but like Jungle Book 2. So stuff like that is obviously going to be stuff I haven't seen. I am going to try and focus more on, you know, the originals and what I've seen. But anyways, we'll go through it. Enough talking, let's go ahead and just get right into it. These movies aren't in any particular order from what I could see, so we're just going to go in the order that they are listed. So let's start here with Recess School's Out. Such a great movie. I love the Recess cartoon and the movies. I think there's like 3 different movies, but Recess School's Out is such a great movie. I love the animation and the art style with that. I'm gonna put it in the B category right there. So it's a B for me. It's a great movie, not top of the tier, not anything like that. Moving on to A Bug's Life, Pixar's second movie, coming right off of Toy Story. They struck while the iron's hot with A Bug's Life, and this is such a great Pixar movie. The animation is beautiful. The message in the movie is beautiful. Definitely gonna go in the A rank for me. I definitely love A Bug's Life. Moving on, we have a Goofy movie. Oh man, Goofy movie. This is the original with Tevin Campbell as Powerline. Eye to Eye, one of my favorite Disney songs of all time. But the movie itself, while it's got a great message and everything like that, it does get a little boring in parts. I definitely think the second movie is a little bit more entertaining, but it's definitely a great movie. I'll definitely put it up there with Recess. Now, I will try and rank these amongst themselves in their tiers, which you're going to see now, because I actually will say that I think a Goofy movie is going to be better and more iconic than Recess, so I am actually going to move it above here, right above Recess. So as we go on, I'll try and do them like that. Next up, we have Bolt. Now, Bolt, it was an okay movie. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything like that, but it was a fun time, great adventure, and you know, I have a soft spot for dogs because of Sparky, so it's definitely going to get a solid C for me, just right there, right in the middle. Not bad, but not great. Definitely a C for me. DuckTales, the movie, was another great movie. It's got that nostalgia and everything in it, but I don't think it really has stood the test of time too well. So for me, I'm torn between C and B, but it is DuckTales, so I think I am going to put it in B, but it's going to go in the lower half of B. Lilo and Stitch, man, such a great movie. I love Lilo and Stitch. The animation, the comedy, the message about family and everything in Stitch. So definitely this is an A tier movie for me. I don't know if I'm ready to put it above A Bug's Life. That's tough. I think I'll put Lilo and Stitch above A Bug's Life. I think I enjoy it just a little bit more because of the message in that movie. Moving on to Pinocchio. I think this was the second Disney movie ever made, right after Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And, you know, it's a fun time. It's a classic movie. And for that, I gotta put it in the B section. While it is a classic movie, it's not something that I'm running back to go see. And it could be because of my age. I'm only 26 years old, so it doesn't have as much nostalgia for me as some of the newer Disney movies do, but for me it's a solid B, but it's going to go in the bottom half of the list. Moving up to the next one, we have Tangled. Now Tangled is probably my favorite, or at least second favorite, Disney princess movie. Such a great movie. Definitely takes a different approach to the Disney princess format and does a really good job. So I'm gonna go ahead and move Tangled into the A list. I'll move it towards the bottom of the A list, but as far as Disney princess movies goes, it's definitely up there in my book. Nightmare Before Christmas. This is such a classic movie, and I'm gonna have to give it an A, simply because of the animation, the character design, and even the story is a fun time, and the music and everything like that. But really what sets it over the top for me, and I'm gonna put it above Tangled, what sets it over the top for me is just the animation and character design. Tim Burton just created some of the coolest and most iconic looking characters of all time, and might be some of my favorite from any film franchise. Definitely love Nightmare Before Christmas. Moving on, I don't know why Toy Story 2 is above Toy Story 1, but we're just going to keep going in order. Toy Story 2, definitely going to be in the A section for me, which, hold on one second, let me scroll up, here we go. Toy Story 2 is going to be in the A section for me, and it's got to go, oh man, this is tough, above Stitch or behind Stitch. I'm going to put it above Stitch, just because I love the Toy Story franchise, if you guys couldn't already tell from the logo of my channel and everything like that. But for me, it's not as good as the other ones in the franchise. Now, as time goes by, I start to appreciate and like it more and more. And I'm not saying that's a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, but for me, it's just probably my least favorite of the 4 Toy Story movies, but it's definitely A-worthy and definitely deserves to be in the top of the A list for me. Now, moving on to the original Toy Story, I think you guys know where this one's going. Let's scroll up. It's definitely not going there. Let's scroll up. It is going in the S ranking. The original Toy Story, probably one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. I just absolutely love this movie. The world that Pixar created, being the first feature-length animated movie. I don't think that was never done before. A fully animated movie from start to finish. So many things that this movie opened up for filmmaking, but even just the story, the characters, the world that we're in. Toy Story, top of the tier, cream of the crop, one of my favorite movies of all time. Moving on to Up. Now, I never saw this movie just until recently. I think it was the end of 2019 or sometime in 2020 was the first time I ever saw this movie, and I fell in love with this movie. For me, it is going all the way up here in the S ranking. Another great Pixar movie. The message, the characters, the world building, and even the emotion in the beginning of the movie when he loses Ellie. Just a really great movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. Definitely in my top 5 Pixar movies of all time, and even maybe top 5 Disney movies of all time. I don't know. I didn't really review all of these before I started. I'm freestyling this off the head live with you guys right now, so we're gonna see what happens here. But moving on to Cinderella. Honestly, I saw Cinderella way back in the day, and I never saw it again until just recently, and it really surprised me. It's one of the better princess movies. For me, it's going to get a B ranking, and I'll put it above Pinocchio, but behind DuckTales, just because it's not something that I'm really rushing to go back and see, but it is a timeless classic, and I really enjoyed the movie. To my surprise, I didn't think I was going to really enjoy the movie as much as I did. Moving on to 101 Dalmatians. Now, again, I have a soft spot for dogs, so it's definitely going to go in the B list for me. It is a classic Disney movie, and am I going to put it above Cinderella? That I don't know. I will put it above Pinocchio. but behind Cinderella. I think that's where it's gonna go. That's not there. There we go. That's where it's gonna go. It's a great movie, but for me, it's just not. Doesn't resonate that much with me. It's not something I'm rushing to go back and see. With a lot of these B movies, with the exception of a Goofy movie and Recess, I'll go back and watch those any day, and even DuckTales. So The Great Mouse Detective, I've heard so many great things about this movie, and it's on my list of stuff that I still need to complete watching, but at this moment in time, I haven't seen it, and yeah, I just never seen it. So for me, sorry. Moving on, The Little Mermaid. This movie is great, but the music in this movie is phenomenal. It doesn't get an S ranking for me, but it is going to get an A ranking, and I am going to put it above Lilo and Stitch simply for the music. The music in this movie is some of the best, so you can't go wrong there. Cars 2. Cars 2. Oh man, oh man. So while Cars 2 is not a bad movie, it's a bad Cars movie, if you understand. It took basically everything that the original Cars movie gave to us, kind of threw it out the window, put Mater as the main focus of the movie into some James Bond action spy flick, and like I said, it's not a bad movie, but it's just not a good Cars movie. But it is enjoyable to watch, and if this was the first Cars movie we ever got, then maybe it'd be, you know, more well received. But because we got that original Cars movie from Pixar, and then we got this one, it just left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. But again, not a horrible movie. For me, it's gonna go in the C section, but it is gonna go in C, and I am gonna put it at the bottom of the C section. So moving on, we have Lion King. Man, oh man, here we go. So let me just, I have to scroll up. Lion King going in the S section. I love Lion King, whether we're talking about the original one or even the live action remake, because I love that one as well. Lion King to me is hands down, and I will argue with anybody, or debate, not argue, but I will debate about this till my last breath. Lion King has the best movie soundtrack, a Disney movie soundtrack of all time. There's no other Disney soundtrack that has more hits than the Lion King soundtrack does. While there may be better individual songs out there, as a collective, Lion King has the best soundtrack of all time, a Disney soundtrack, and it's one of the best Disney movies of all time. I don't know if I want to put it above, I'll put it above Up just simply because of the music. It's going above Up, but hands down one of the best Disney movies of all time. Moving on to The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm not sure where I want to put this. I never saw this until recently. This was such a dark movie, especially for Disney, man. Some of the themes and the messages throughout this movie, yeah, really, really dark. But Hunchback of Notre Dame, it's not a bad movie at all. I'm gonna put it above DuckTales in the B section. And what is this girl's name? I can't remember, but the main female girl character in this movie, she's technically a Disney princess, but doesn't get any love, and I don't know why. But I definitely love The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like I said, really dark. But speaking of things that I love, The Princess and the Frog. This was the other movie that I was saying is my other favorite Disney princess movie. The music, the theming, just the world of New Orleans that they brought us to, man, absolutely amazing. Going up here with Tangled, and I'm gonna put it above Tangled, but they are kind of tied, but come on, for the sake of this, I'm gonna put it above Tangled. Moving on to Finding Dory. Now, Finding Dory was a decent movie. For me, it's gonna go in the B list. I will put it right behind Goofy movie. It is a good movie, but it basically took the formula of Finding Nemo and just kind of reused it, but didn't do it as well. But it's not a bad movie. It's a decent movie. I like it. Moving on to Moana. Listen, guys, Moana is better than Frozen. I'm saying it now, fight me in the comments, but I love, love, love Moana, especially the music and the world that it brought us to and everything. Moana's going to get an A for me. I'm going to put it above Little Mermaid. You know what? I'm going to put it above Toy Story 2. Am I? I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet, but it's going right there. I feel good about where it's at in the list right there. The Good Dinosaur. I was not a fan of this movie. It was a very boring movie for me. It's not horrible, but it's getting an E for me. It was just, for me, I don't know, I couldn't get into it. It was very, very boring for me. I didn't really enjoy watching it. Pete's Dragon, I have never seen this movie, so it's gonna go right there. Fantasia. Okay, hear me out. The Fantasia section with the brooms and Sorcerer Mickey and all that, it's great. But I can never really get into the whole orchestra movie vibe. So for me, I'm gonna give it a D. Don't kill me. I know so many people love Fantasia, and I love that one section of Fantasia, but I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the orchestra movie format, so that's just me. Moving on to Peter Pan. Peter Pan is another timeless classic. It is a great movie, but for me, it's gonna rank like in the average section. I'm gonna put Peter Pan behind or in front. I'll put Peter Pan just for, well, not there. Just for the nostalgia purpose, in front of Hunchback of Notre Dame, but behind Recess School's Out. Finding Nemo. So Finding Nemo is going to go in the A section. If I can scroll up. Where in the A section is it going to go? It's got to go in front of Moana for me. Definitely got to put it in front of Moana. I may even put it, you know what, I'm going to put it above Toy Story 2. Because I'd rather watch Finding Nemo than Toy Story 2. But I really love both movies, don't get me wrong. But just Finding Nemo is such a classic movie, and Toy Story, if I'm gonna watch any of them, I'd rather watch Toy Story 1 or some, maybe even 3 or 4. But again, I don't hate Toy Story 2, don't get me wrong, it's just my least favorite of the Toy Story movies. Alright, so moving on to Peter Pan Return to Neverland. This is another one of those sequels that I've never seen, so we're gonna put that there. Fantasia 2000, I actually opted not to watch this because I wasn't a big fan of the original Fantasia, so that's gonna go in the haven't seen, but definitely let me know if it's something worth looking into. The Black Cauldron is on my list of stuff that I need to watch, I just haven't got around to it, so I still haven't seen the Black Cauldron, but I've heard really good things about it, so I'm gonna get around to that in the next couple days. Bambi, oh man, I'm gonna get killed for this one, but Bambi, for me, it gets an F. Okay, hold on, hear me out. I understand it's a classic Disney movie, but is it a classic because it was one of the originals? I think that's the reason why. I'm not a big fan of Bambi. I watched it, I didn't enjoy the story. I didn't feel like the story was really even that great. You know, it's really, if you think about it, you know, he's a kid, his mom gets killed, he grows up, and he's looking around trying to hook up with the female deer. Is there a name for female deer? I don't know, but that's basically the premise of the whole story. He's just trying to get it in with one of the other deer. So for me, I was very bored throughout this movie, and it's going there. Rescuers is another that's on my list that I have to watch. I just haven't got around to it. So, man, there's more that I haven't watched than I realized. The Rescuers Down Under, obviously I haven't seen Rescuers, so I'm not going to see the sequel. Planes, Fire, and Rescue. Now, what actually surprised me about Planes was it wasn't made by Pixar. It was made by Disney. Disney took the Cars formula that was so successful that Pixar did and basically said, we're going to make our own version of it. And they made Planes, and Planes, Fire, Rescue is such a great movie. I really love that movie. Doesn't get the credit it deserves. It's going to go in the A tier for me. I'm going to put it in the bottom of the A tier, but, that's tough. You know, I do like it more than Princess and the Frog and Tangled and even Nightmare Before Christmas. To me, it's more enjoyable to watch. So for that reason, I'm going to put it right above Nightmare Before Christmas. It is a great movie. A lot of different Easter eggs and references to other real-world cars and airplane stuff. A lot of Easter eggs to look through in that movie. The Heffalump movie, never seen that from Winnie the Pooh, so that's going to go down there. Bambi 2, again, I never liked Bambi 1, so I never saw Bambi 2, so that's going to go there. The Fox and the Hound's a good movie. You know, again, I have a soft spot for dogs, so for me, it's going to go... It's... I don't know where to put this. B or C? I think I'm going to put it in B... I'll just put it there. I'm not really sure where exactly it lies, but I'm just going to throw it in the B section. Oliver and Company, I haven't got around to watching this one, so that's going to go there. WALL-E. Now, when I originally saw WALL-E many years ago, I didn't really like it, mainly because there was really no talking throughout the whole movie. And me rewatching it just recently, I've grown to appreciate it more. I really love it. It's got a great message in it. And it's a really fun time despite the lack of actual talking in the movie. For me, I'm going to put it in the A list. I'm not sure exactly where it would go. I think just for the lack of talking, it's going to go towards the bottom of the A list, but it's still a great movie. Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Now, this is a movie that doesn't get enough love, but I am happy to see that they are working on a live-action version of it. But Atlantis is a great, great movie, and the animation style is just beautiful. It was really ahead of its time with the animation. It's going to go in the A-list for me. I'll put it in the bottom of the A-list, but still in the A-list nevertheless. Treasure Planet. Treasure Planet to me is very similar to Atlantis. Again, another one of those movies that has great animation and just doesn't get enough love. I think they're working on a live action version of this one as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to go there. It's pretty much tied with Atlantis. Piglet's Big Movie. Haven't seen it. The original Jungle Book. It is a good movie, but not a great movie. And I'm going to put it... It is a classic, so it is going to go in the B section. I will put it right in front or behind Cinderella. They're kind of tied. I'll put it in front of Cinderella just because I feel like I'm more likely to go watch Jungle Book before I am to go watch Cinderella. So that's where that's going to go. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So this is the original Winnie the Pooh movie and the only one that I've seen, and it is a good movie. Not my favorite. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it at the bottom of the B list. And I know it's a classic movie, but for me, I do find myself getting a little bored throughout the movie. So that's where it's gonna land for me. Emperor's New Groove is a movie that I don't know why it doesn't get that much love. It is a good movie. It's an average movie, though. It does get a little boring in some parts, but it is a classic early 2000s Disney movie. So for me, it's going to go in the B list, and I'm going to put it... I'll put it right there, right behind The Hunchback, but above DuckTales. Moving on to Jungle Book 2. Again, I haven't seen any of these straight to DVD or VHS sequels. Chicken Little, another movie that doesn't really get enough love. It is such a good movie with a good message, and to me... Oh, it's got a lot of references and Easter eggs to other Disney movies too. To me, it's going to go in the bottom of the... I don't know if I can put it in the bottom of the A section, because I wouldn't put Goofy movie... man. I'm going to put it in the B section, at the top of the B section, right above Recess, School's Out. So moving to Brother Bear. This was a movie that came across, I had it on my list to watch, but it really didn't look that interesting to me. So I actually ended up passing on it. But let me know if it's something that I should watch. The Three Caballeros, I keep wanting to pass on it just because it doesn't seem that interesting. But it's a classic movie from what I heard. So I did add it to my list. Again, I had took it off, but now I re-added it, and I am going to eventually get around to watching it, but at this moment I haven't watched it. Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty was another good movie. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but for me it's going to fall right behind Cinderella in the B section. Moving on to Monsters University. Monsters University was a fun time. Definitely a different take on the Monsters Inc. formula, and it was at that time where Pixar was doing a lot of prequel movies. So for me, Monsters University is going to go... I will put it behind Finding Dory and behind Chicken Little. I don't know. I'd rather watch Recess than Monsters University. I'll put it behind Recess. If it will, there we go. Yeah, I think that's where it's going to go. Moving on to Alice in Wonderland. I'm going to get killed for this one as well. I'm going to put Alice in Wonderland in the F. I know it's got a huge cult following, but for me, watching that original movie, I was just so bored. And I really feel like that's a movie you need to see while intoxicated or under the influence. And I heard that whoever made this movie was, or wrote the story, was actually like on some sort of drugs at the time. So for me, it doesn't hit any of those chords for me. I really didn't enjoy it. I was really bored throughout the movie. I had more fun watching Bambi than I did Alice in Wonderland, but yeah, no, it doesn't do it for me. The Incredibles. Alright, it's time for another one of those. The Incredibles is going on the S tier, and it's gonna go up here. Yes, Incredibles second in the S tier behind Toy Story. Such a great movie. I love The Incredibles, man. The music, just the characters and the world building. Incredibles, amazing. Moving on to Dumbo. Dumbo's a cute movie, but It doesn't really do much for me. It is a great movie, and it's one of those Disney classics. I'm gonna put Dumbo behind Pinocchio. That's where, what the heck, here, there we go. It's gonna go behind Pinocchio for me. It's one of those classic movies, but it's not something I'm running back to go see. Pocahontas. Pocahontas is a great movie, and it's got that great animation from the 90s, and it's got some really good songs in that movie. I will put it in the B list, and I will put it behind DuckTales. Yes, that is where Pocahontas is going. I've only ever seen it once, and that was recently, maybe a few months ago. It may be higher on the list, but I just don't have enough of a connection to it at the moment. Oh, The Adventures of Mr. Toad. I've actually haven't seen this. I know it's something that I need to. I just haven't. Aladdin. Here we go. Here we go. We got another one. Hold on. Let me scroll up. Aladdin S tier movie. For me, I think it's going to go right there. It is another timeless Disney movie, 90s classic with another one of the best Disney soundtracks of all time. And I don't know why the live action one gets so much hate. I really love the live action Aladdin movie. So, but I think I love all of these movies in front of it just a little bit more, but it's still going in the S tier of movies. Moving on to Brave. Brave surprised me. I really like Brave, and I didn't think I was going to, just because it had the rap of being just the Pixar princess, and they even made fun of it in Wreck-It Ralph, but I really like Brave. I'll put Brave in the A category, and I will put it right behind Tangled. Not as good as Tangled, but definitely, come on, there we go, definitely up there. I really like Brave. Mulan. Mulan actually surprised me how much I actually really like Mulan. Am I going to put it in the S tier, though? I haven't seen it enough times to put it in the S tier, but I think I'm going to put it in the A tier, right in front of Moana. The music in this movie is great. The animation, the art style, and the action in this movie is really good. I've only ever seen it recent, like that I can remember once, and that was recently. Yeah, such a great movie. I'm really excited for the live action one. It's a shame that it had to get pushed back, but I can't wait for it to release. Definitely excited to go see that. Strange Magic is one that was on my list just because it had to be, but I took it off because it didn't look that interesting, so I'm going to put that in the haven't seen. Big Hero 6 is a good movie. I've only ever seen it once, and again, that was recently, because I've recently rewatched all the Disney movies. So for me, it's going to go in the B list, and I will put it, it's going to go high in the B list. I'll put it right behind Finding Dory. I think that's where I'm going to put it. I feel good putting it there. So right behind Finding Dory, but right in front of Chicken Little. Cars 3. Now, Cars 3, a lot of people criticize for having basically the same exact formula as the original Cars movie and just kind of reusing it, but I had fun with Cars 3. I really like Cars 3. So, to me, I'll put Cars 3 above Finding Dory, but behind A Goofy Movie. That's where it's going to go for me. The Sword in the Stone, another one of those that I have to see. I just haven't got around to it yet. James and the Giant Peach. That was a very strange movie to me, and Tim Burton was involved, so that explains why. But it was a weird movie. It wasn't a bad movie. I'll put it at the bottom of the B list. No, you know what? Because I do like... I'm going to put it at the bottom of the C list because I'd rather watch Bolt and Cars 2 before I watch James and the Giant Peach again. So that's where it's going for me. The original Cars, I think you guys know where this has to go. And this has to go, hold on, all the way in the S list. I'm going to put it above Lion King. Yes, it's going to go above Lion King for me. Toy Story, Incredibles, and then Cars, then Lion King, and Up and Aladdin for the S list. But Cars is such a timeless movie, such a great movie. Pixar at its best. Definitely got to go with that at that S ranking. Moving on to Ratatouille. I'm going to get killed for this one, but Ratatouille, to me, I like it more than Fantasia, so I'm going to put it there. But it's going to go in the D list. I am not a huge fan of Ratatouille. It was very boring to me. I don't know. And I have a friend who, he likes Ratatouille and says it is kind of a boring movie. So, I don't know. To me, I'm just not a big fan of Ratatouille. Frankenweenie was another good movie, another Tim Burton movie. It's not something that I'm going to run back to go see. It's going to be, I'll put it right above James and Giant Peach. It is a good movie, though. Wreck-It Ralph. Oh man, Wreck-It Ralph, Wreck-It Ralph. We are going to put Wreck-It Ralph. It's got to be in the A-list, and it may even be in the top of the A-list. Yeah, it's gotta be. I'm gonna put it right behind Finding Nemo, just because Finding Nemo has a little bit more nostalgia for me. But Wreck-It Ralph, such a great movie. Really, really love Wreck-It Ralph. Such a classic. Planes. So I'm gonna put the original Planes right behind Planes Fire and Rescue. If we can find, here it is. Another great movie. I'm gonna put it right there, just because I feel, come on, just because I feel like Planes Fire and Rescue is just a little bit better, but Planes is still good. Oh man, here we go. Frozen. So, if you want my opinion on Frozen, I feel like it is. I'll tell you what I feel like it is. Let me just, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to put it. It's, for me. That's where it's going to go for me. That is where it's going to go. If you ask me, the music in Frozen carried the movie. And the music in Frozen really made the movie way more popular than it should be, in my opinion. It is a good movie, but if it didn't have those iconic songs in it, I don't think it would get as much love as it does. So for me, that's where Frozen is going to sit. Lady and the Tramp's another classic. I think it's a 90s, if not late 80s, Disney movie. But for me, I'll put it above Fox and the Hound in the B list. Just kind of average to me. Ralph Breaks the Internet, another great Wreck-It Ralph movie. I don't know if I'm going to put it above the original, but I'd say it's tied simply because of that Disney princess scene with all those Easter eggs. That scene alone is enough to kind of put it over Wreck-It Ralph, but I'll say they're tied in the spot that they are. Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2 is a decent movie, but I don't know. It's kind of like with Finding Dory for me. I'll put it here. Yeah, I think right there, just at the top of the B list is where it's going to rank for me. Inside Out. Inside Out was a very, very good movie and a great way of kind of showing kids how they deal with the different emotions that they may not understand. So Inside Out for me, I'll put it at the bottom of the A list. It was a good movie. Doug's First Movie, just recently rewatched that, and that is a good movie. It's kind of just average for me, but I'll put it, just because it doesn't have as much nostalgia or like as classic as some of these other movies here, I'll put it at the bottom of the B list. Oh man, Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. I don't know if I'm ready to put this in the S list, but it's definitely got to go at the top of the A list. Behind Finding Nemo or in front? Ooh, this is tough. I'll put it right behind Finding Nemo. I think I like Finding Nemo just a little bit more, or if nothing else, I've definitely seen Finding Nemo in my life more times than I have than Monsters Inc. So that's where that's going to go for me. Coco. Oh man, I'm probably about to surprise a lot of people with this one, but for me, and I don't know if it's because I'm Spanish, but even then, like, I'm not, like, I don't speak Spanish or anything like that, but I understand a lot of Spanish, and maybe it's because of that, but I'm putting Coco in the S ranking. Now, I'm not really sure where I'm ready to put Coco. I do like Coco just a little bit more than Up, and it's got some of my favorite songs. So for me, it's going to go right above Up. I love Coco. Some of the music, Remember Me and Un Poco Loco, and what's the other song? I can't remember off the top of my head. Corazon, something like that. Something about his heart. Yeah, definitely some of my favorite Disney songs of all time. So that's where Coco is going for me. I'm sure I shocked a lot of people with that, but yeah, I really, really love Coco. Moving on to Meet the Robinsons. I really love Meet the Robinsons as well. It's got a lot of great Easter eggs and references to other Disney movies and stuff. I really love that Space Mountain reference in the beginning of the movie and the Tomorrowland reference as well. For me, it's going to go in the A list, and it will go... I think I'll put it right above Wall-E. I think. Not sure. Yeah, I think that's where it's gonna go. And you know, thinking about this more, I think I'm ready to put a Goofy movie at the bottom of the A list. I think it deserves a little bit more credit, so that's where the Goofy movie's gonna go. Dinosaur. Okay, I'm gonna get some hate for this as well. I'll put it right above The Good Dinosaur. I can see that at the time, in the year 2000, I think it was 2000 when this movie came out, how it was ahead of its time with the CGI and the technology and all that. But watching it now, it's very dated, and to me, the story is very boring. I will put it right above The Good Dinosaur just for how groundbreaking the animation was the year it came out, but I'm not that big of a fan of it. Oh, Tarzan. Tarzan is another classic Disney 90s Disney movie, I should say. For me, I will put it in the A list, and it's got some of the best Disney music. Phil Collins put his foot in that soundtrack. While I'm at it, I want to shout out Elton John for the Lion King soundtrack. He put his foot in that one. So for me, Tarzan, I'm not really sure where I would put it. I'll put it right there. That's where Tarzan's gonna go. Aristocats, I saw it. It's an okay movie. It's gonna go in the C for me. I'll put it there. No, I'll put it there. That's where Aristocats is gonna go. Robin Hood's another classic Disney movie. I'll put it at the bottom of the B list, but I'll put it no, yeah, yes, no, I'm not sure. That's where it's gonna go. Robin Hood's going there. Hercules, I don't know if you guys are ready for this one. Let me, that's not where it's going. Just give me a second. It takes a second. I gotta scroll all the way because we got so much stuff here. Hercules is going at the top of, not the top, but it's going at the S list for me. Hercules is such a great movie. I don't know if I'm ready to put it above Aladdin, but I love Greek mythology, and Hercules probably has like maybe second or third best Disney soundtrack in my opinion. Hercules in the S list, timeless classic for me. The Tigger movie, haven't seen. Toy Story 3. Let me just move whatever this Winnie the Pooh movie is to haven't seen it either. Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3. Let's talk about Toy Story 3. Talk about an emotional movie. I'll put it at the top of the A list. An emotional movie, man. If you haven't cried or got sad or teared up watching Toy Story 3, you're lying. And just a great end to Andy's trilogy, to Andy's storyline, and then moving on to Bonnie's storyline, leading into Toy Story 4. Just such a great movie. So moving on to Roger Rabbit. Roger Rabbit is a movie that I feel like doesn't get enough love, and I don't know if you can really consider it an animated movie because it's like half animated but half live action as well. But for me, it is a really good movie. I'm gonna put it in the A list, and I will put it, I'm not sure where I want to put it in the A list. It's gonna go towards the bottom just because some of these other movies hit harder for me. But I will put it here just for the nostalgia purpose. But Roger Rabbit, the technology that they used in the movie at the time was ahead of its time, and also just having Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny and all these other studios characters in one movie together, I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. So that is really cool. Zootopia is another good movie. For me, it's a good movie, but it's like an average movie. It's gonna go, I'll put it behind Bolt just because, again, I have a soft spot for dogs, so that's where that's gonna go. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, you gotta put that above Cinderella or below Cinderella. I don't know, simply just because Grumpy is one of my favorite characters of all time. I'm gonna put him above Cinderella. Yes, that is where it's gonna go. And the last movie we have on the list is The Beauty and the Beast, and that is going to go, Beauty and the Beast is going, whoops, it's going to go in the A list, but where in the A list is the question. I will put it right behind Tarzan, simply because Tarzan has overall better music. But Beauty and the Beast, when we talk about leaps in animation, I forgot what movie came before Beauty and the Beast. Whatever movie came right before Beauty and the Beast, looking at the animation differences, Beauty and the Beast was light years ahead of whatever came before it. Beautiful animation, great soundtrack, great story, and that is it. Here is where we are. So let's do a quick recap and then we'll end this video. So starting with the S ranking, obviously we're gonna have Toy Story, The Incredibles, Cars, The Lion King, Coco, Up, Aladdin, and Hercules. I feel really good about that list. I'm very happy where everything falls and sits in that list. If I could swap anything, maybe I'd put Hercules over Aladdin, but I feel like Aladdin is just way more timeless than Hercules is. Moving on to the A list, we have Toy Story 3, Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc., Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Toy Story 2, Mulan, Moana, The Little Mermaid, Lilo and Stitch, Bugs Life, Tarzan, Beauty and the Beast, Planes, Fire and Rescue, and Planes, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Brave, Roger Rabbit, Meet the Robinsons, WALL-E, Atlantis, Treasure Planet, Inside Out, and A Goofy Movie. I'm sure anything in this A list you can kind of, move around and swap some stuff around, but I feel really good about that. Moving on to the B list is Incredibles 2, Cars 3, Finding Dory, Big Hero 6, Chicken Little, Recess, School's Out, Frozen, Don't Kill Me, Monsters University, Peter Pan, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Emperor's New Groove, DuckTales, Pocahontas, Jungle Book, Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, Robin Hood, Pinocchio, Dumbo, Lady and the Tramp, Fox and the Hound, Winnie the Pooh, and Doug's first movie. And just like with the A list, I feel like you can maybe pick some things and swap around in here, but overall, really good. Moving on to the C list, Bolt, Zootopia, Cars 2, Aristocats, Frankenweenie, and James and the Giant Peach. And I also forgot to mention James and the Giant Peach is also another one of those movies which is kind of animated, more claymation than anything else, and live action as well. The D list, Ratatouille and Fantasia. The E list, Dinosaur and The Good Dinosaur. Ironically, the two dinosaur movies fall there. F list, we have Bambi and Alice in Wonderland. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for those. And I haven't seen Great Mouse Detective, Pete's Dragon, Return to Neverland, Fantasia 2000, The Black Cauldron, The Rescuers, and The Rescuers Down Under, The Heffalump Movie, Bambi 2, Oliver and Company, Piglet's Big Movie, The Jungle Book 2, Brother Bear, The Three Caballeros, The Adventures of Mr. Toad, Strange Magic, The Sword and the Stone, The Tigger Movie, and whatever this Winnie the Pooh movie poster is right there. Woo! Alright, you guys, so we finally made it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this was a really long video. If you guys stuck around to the end, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. If this is something you guys are interested in seeing more of, definitely leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. As always, guys, stay tuned for more. I'll see you guys next time.